Food is fuel for your body, your mind, and definitely your sport. But let's face it, nutrition is confusing, and the expectations on girls and women to be thin and have a six-pack are exhausting. If you've ever been frustrated with your body, confused about nutrition, obsessed with eating healthy, or guilty when you don't, underate, overate, or overtrained, and overwhelmed with all the pressure, then this podcast is for you. Nutrition can be easy, you can take control of it, but it might start with letting go of control by asking for help and making a change. I'm Lindsay Elizabeth Cortez, sports dietitian and owner of Rise Up Nutrition, where I empower female athletes to overcome nutrition concerns and perform at their highest level, to stop being confused by all the mixed or harmful messages, and finally have confidence in your body as a fierce, fit, and fueled female athlete. Today's episode is thanks to our Patreon members and our affiliates and partners. Head to patreon.com/femaleathletenutrition to join our membership or donate to the podcast, and stay tuned to hear about some amazing deals and discounts from our partners, including Prevenix, Inside Tracker, Orgain, Practice Better, and Jen and Carrie. But for now, we're getting right to the show. Enjoy. Hey everybody, Lindsay Cortez here, your host of the podcast, and today it's just me. I am doing a quick little solo episode. It's actually been, I think around 9 or 10 weeks since I've been behind the microphone because I had a baby. So my second baby boy was born. His name is Levi Alexander Cortez. And he was born on May 20th of 2023. So the episodes that you've been listening to between basically then and now have all been recorded before his birth. I hustled as much as I could to get as many episodes kind of saved up so I could take some time off and really enjoy maternity leave, so to speak. Although I always this is my second time around. Gabe is my first baby boy, who's actually only 18 months old right now. And then, or 19. Did he just turn 19? Oh, yes, he just turned 19 months old. And then Levi is my second. And, when you own your own business, you don't really get like paid maternity leave per se. It's like you have to run your business still. So if you want to take time off, you have to set yourself up for that. And nor is it necessarily a paid maternity leave pending your business structure, but like business has to keep going, right? So I did as much as I possibly could ahead of time to prepare. And as far as working with actual clients, that's where Jenna Stranzel, the other dietitian on my team, who you've heard on the podcast, continued working with clients. And I think this episode today, I'm frankly just giving you a little life update if you're down for that. And I have because of the big life change that just happened, I'll have some other solo episodes in the future explaining a little bit more about it. But yeah, let me just share with you the fact that I thought I was going to, take 4 to 6 weeks, like completely off to enjoy new baby boy and then slowly get back into the necessary things of business, like working with clients and enrolling new clients. But events went differently than expected. That's how I want to say it. I think we shouldn't underestimate how big of a deal having a baby is and bringing new life into the world. And I by no means thought that I was underestimating it, but I did have some expectations. My expectations were that he would be a healthy baby boy, just like my first baby boy was. And that was not the case. So Levi was born around 10:30 at night on a Saturday. And in less than 2 hours later, he was taken away from me and rushed to the NICU, the neonatal intensive care unit. And he was rushed to the NICU because his body was becoming limp and he was unresponsive and he had undetectable blood sugar. He also, I think prior to that point, he was making some weird noises. He was hyperventilating, overbreathing. So the nurses were like, what's going on with him? So he was rushed to the NICU. He, as I said, had undetectable blood sugar levels. And in doing a serum level, which is a little more accurate. That came back to be 5. He had a blood sugar of 5. And for those who understand blood sugars, they should be between 70 to 100. Anything under 70 is considered low blood sugar. Anything really under 50 is considered critically low. And the lower and lower it gets, while you're not getting sugar to your brain, you can have encephalopathy, brain damage, seizures. And so this was very dangerous and very, very critical. Another thing that happened, though, because he was hyperventilating, he ended up having what's called a pneumothorax. It's essentially a collapsed lung. And so by Sunday around 6 a.m., I still hadn't seen my baby and, didn't sleep all night, not knowing if he was going to make it or what was going on or what was wrong with him. And they, around 6 a.m. the next day, told us they found the collapsed lung and moved forward with a procedure to fix that. And by 9 a.m., he had recovered from that. So that was awesome. And by the way, he was on a dextrose IV infusion to maintain his blood sugar. So I really thought by the next day, it was 12 hours later or more by the time I finally got to see my baby again. So that in and of itself was terribly traumatic. But I did think that things were resolved. I thought that the lung thing was kind of what happened. Or, we did also learn that some babies do have low blood sugar right after birth because they've been living off of mom's blood sugar throughout all of pregnancy. And when the umbilical cord is cut and their sugar supply is shut off, they might have high insulin and that can make them go hypoglycemic. And so they just kind of explained to us this blood sugar issue can be normal in babies, and we're just going to, over the course of the next 2 days, wean him off of the IV dextrose, and then he should be good to go now that his lung is fixed. So that was, the plan for the next few days. I'm still recovering myself after giving birth. I'm still admitted into the hospital, though in separate places and separate rooms from my baby. So that was difficult. But then I think it was by Tuesday, so about 2 days later, we're trying to wean him off of the dextrose infusion, and they kept monitoring his blood sugar through heel pricks every 3 to 6 hours. And he had some more, as they were trying to wean him off the sugar, he had some more critically low blood sugar levels. And so then they were like, okay, well, we might need to wean him off slower. So this kind of dragged out.
Hey fans, I hope you are enjoying this conversation so far, and we'll be back to it in just a moment. But first, I want to pause and let you know that this episode is brought to you by the Female Athlete System of Transformation, aka the Fast Track to overcome disordered eating and use food as fuel to perform at your highest level. The Female Athlete System of Transformation is my unique program and proven systems to guide female athletes to understanding and implementing the proper nutrition for their sport, life, and health. Myself and my team of registered sports dietitians work one-on-one with clients to address their unique needs and counsel them through the nutritional and behavioral changes needed. Many female athletes who resonate with disordered eating, mental guilt around food and body, relative energy deficiency in sport or female athlete triad, amenorrhea, repeat injuries due to negligent nutrition, or frankly, just a lack of knowledge and understanding on their fueling needs, have seen incredible success in the Fast Track. After years of working as a sports RD, I've compiled the most effective ways for female athletes to learn nutrition, be supported, be challenged, and ultimately find their success with fueling as fast as possible. So don't wait another day. Get to your goals faster by joining the Female Athlete System of Transformation. Look in the show notes or head to the website to book a free call and learn more. Okay, now let's get you back to the conversation. Enjoy.
And then, I don't know if I'll ever forget this, but it's Thursday around 2 a.m. And I was there because I was trying to breastfeed. I was choosing to breastfeed and wanted to breastfeed my son. And so even though he was in the NICU, I was basically living in the hospital so that every 3 hours I could go in and breastfeed him. And I was also pumping because if I ever missed a session or if he was hungry in between those 3 hours, the nurses could give him pumped or expressed breast milk. But anyways, I was there at 2 a.m. on a Thursday going in so that I could feed him. And they checked his blood sugar and it was something like 50, I think it was. which is again a critically low blood sugar level. And it was at that point, this is on day 6 of life. It was in that point in my heart, I knew that something wasn't right. Something was wrong. That, this blood sugar issue happens to babies and shakes out within a few days thing. I knew that wasn't the case in my heart. Once that happened Thursday at 2 a.m., it shouldn't have been happening on day 6 of life. And so at that point, the doctors agreed and knew that this was not normal and started getting endocrinology involved and a metabolic team. And so I'm just going to fast forward a little bit because I don't think that I'm really ready to share just everything. This is still fresh and new at this point in time. Levi is just 8 weeks old, but sharing the fact that we continued to stay in the hospital in the NICU for 2.5 weeks, 17 days before we were discharged. And by the end of it all, we have a genetic team involved, a metabolic pediatric subspecialty team, and we are treating him. He's showing all the signs and symptoms and clinical manifestations of a rare autosomal recessive genetic disorder called glycogen storage disease that affects less than 1 in 100,000 people. It's something that we did send off for genetic testing. And so I suppose it's not completely confirmed yet because genetic testing can take up to 2 months. So we don't have those results yet. But again, he's showing all the clinical signs of it. And as we've been treating him according to the treatment plan for glycogen storage disease, he is maintaining his health and improving it. So that's really good. But yeah, it's an autosomal recessive genetic disorder. It means that both my husband and I must be carriers of this trait that we had no clue about. And so this was all just, I'm going to use the word traumatic. It was all just very shocking and difficult to deal with. 2.5 weeks, nearly 3 weeks in the NICU is hard on anybody. And then the realization, not only the fear that not only is my baby not healthy right now, but the realization that this is a lifelong disorder and coming to terms with that is something I'm still doing, and then upon bringing him home, I was scared. I was very scared. In the hospital, I saw him drop to critically low blood sugar levels. So now I have to take care of him on my own at home. So I think taking care of a newborn is sometimes scary enough. Now I have one with truly a life-threatening condition. And when I say life-threatening, it's funny because some days, most of the time actually, right now, he's in the other room sleeping right now. He's just like a totally normal baby and he's acting totally normal. And I'll be checking his blood sugar all day long and it'll be fine, fine, fine. And I can convince myself that nothing's wrong with him because he looks so normal and healthy and he's acting normal and healthy. And then randomly out of nowhere, boom, low blood sugar level. It happened again this morning and I don't know why. And this is the scary part about his condition, which I'm going to go more in depth about it in a separate episode because this is the crazy thing about it, you guys. Like, it is just so crazy that out of all the things that can happen to people of this world and, sicknesses, I don't know, just anything that can happen, anything unusual that could happen. What Levi has is a disorder of his metabolism. It is all related to, how his liver functions and metabolism and how he can digest food and maintain blood sugar levels. It is all nutrition. It's all nutrition. And so this is good and bad because, again, going back to those 17 days in the NICU, as we started to discover what his condition is, it was good and bad because as a dietitian, I understood exactly what was going on. So that's good because I understand this. This is not a foreign language to me. I understand it completely and therefore am equipped to take care of him. And just what a blessing is that for Levi, What a blessing is that for Levi? What a blessing is that for me, that as his mother, I really understand what's going on with him. So that's just crazy. But it was good and bad because at the same time, because I understand everything that's going on, there was no ignorance is bliss type of situation. There was a lot of fear. I had a lot of fear. I still do. I have a lot of fear for his present. I have a lot of fear for his future. I have a lot of fear for how we're going to, get through this as a family, because I do understand exactly what's going on with his body and how severe it can be. And as I mentioned, life-threatening. I don't say that it's life-threatening to evoke more fear, because again, he's just fine. He's in the other room, happily sleeping right now. But it's one of those things where, yeah, he can't ever go without eating for a certain amount of time, because his blood sugar will drop low and he can have a seizure because of that. Permanent brain damage. So, it's funny because one of the treatments is to have him on a continuous tube feeding. So he has a tube feeding. He has an NG tube, a nasogastric tube right now, talking about just the difficulties of the last 2 months. That's another factor, is I didn't just bring home a newborn. I brought home a newborn with medical needs and who has this nose tube. And so he's 8 weeks old now. We came home nearly at week 3. So he's been home for 5 weeks, and he has ripped this tube out of his nose and off his face at least 6 times in the past 5 weeks, which means that my husband and I are the ones who have to reinsert it. This is not a nice process. It's very painful for the baby and the person going through it. And it's very difficult as parents to do this to him. And he's a baby that wants to make things more difficult on us. So, when does he pull it out? I don't know. It usually falls out in the middle of the night or right before bed or while we're out and about, just at like really, really inconvenient times. So I don't know. It's probably been 4 times now that my husband and I have, woken up at 3 a.m. or 3:30, and it's like, oh shoot, the tube is out and we have to put it back in right away, because he has to be hooked up to his tube feeding, because it's too dangerous for him not to be, and his blood sugar drop. And so that's been an extra stressor that I for sure was not expecting when I think I started this conversation about my expectations and having a baby, and this was just not what I expected. And it's been much more of an emotional toll. There's so many emotions, and this is why women and families need a break and maternity and paternity leave after having a baby, because it's a lot of stress and strain on a family. We have another baby. Now we're juggling 2 babies under 2 years old. And now one of them has a medical condition and requires us to insert an NG tube at 3:30 in the morning, because otherwise he could die if not. Like, it's been really, really stressful, really, really hard emotionally. Where am I going with this, everybody? Where I'm going with this is from a work perspective and a podcast perspective. I had assumed that, around this time, like mid-July, when baby was 2 months old, that I would be getting back into things. And it's certainly taking me longer than expected with everything going on. There's a learning curve. There's the taking care of myself and my emotions, my postpartum hormones, myself, my postpartum body, taking care of Levi, taking care of Gabe, who's just 19 months old, and also adjusting. We've got weekly doctor's appointments where they have to draw his blood every week, which is another painful process because he's got such little baby veins. And then, of course, as he's growing, and he is feeding well and gaining weight, now he's got the nice little baby fat, and they just can't find his little veins. And it's just this grueling process to take his blood. This week, it took them 3 attempts. It was just really difficult on all of us. The most difficult on Levi, I'm sure, but really difficult on us as parents to watch him go through this.
Fans, I hope you are enjoying the conversation. We are going to take a quick pause so I can tell you about our partners. They are so valuable in providing you with amazing products and helping keep this podcast going. First, Prevenix. Thanks to their incredible Joint Health Plus product, my aches and pains from running, and honestly, being a new mom, as crazy as that sounds, have literally disappeared. As I continue to push my body physically as an athlete, and frankly, as I continue to age, I was shocked at the aches I was beginning to feel in my knees, wrists, ankles. It seemed like omega-3s, curcumin, nothing was really working, but after just 1 month of Joint Health Plus from Prevenix, I felt a drastic improvement. Honestly, this is something I rarely experience with supplements, but Prevenix uses quality ingredients backed by sound science. Their products are pharmaceutical grade with extensive testing for safety, quality, and purity. They offer other supplements, including probiotics, omega, immune health, and a multivitamin, which I also use daily. And the science behind their multi has changed my opinion on multivitamins altogether. I used to never recommend them or take them myself, and now I recommend and take Prevnex Multivitamin Mineral and Antioxidant Plus daily. I am so impressed with Prevnex, and I can't wait for you to try. You can get 15% off your first order using the code RISEUP at checkout. The company also offers 100% money-back guarantee within 30 days because they stand by their products, and so do I. Head to Prevnex.com, Previnex.com, and use the code RISEUP, one word, at checkout for 15% off. For nutritional shakes and bars to fuel your body, head to Orgain.com and use the code RISEUP30 for 30% off your first order. Orgain's ready-to-drink nutritional shakes are my go-to to throw in my bag when I'm heading to the gym or to a trail to run, so that when I'm done, I've got a recovery option to refuel and rehydrate with right away. Orgain makes nutrition and sports nutrition that works. For repeat customers, check the show notes for more. And again, first-time customers, head to Orgain.com and use the code RISEUP30, all caps. And last, ladies, moms, every mom is an athlete. That's why Jen and Carrie have designed the best nursing and pumping sports bras. I cannot rave about these enough. I hate that most maternity bras have clips and don't support being active, but Jen and Carrie get that because they're moms and athletes themselves. They want you to be a mom and an athlete. So their stylish and athletic high-impact bras allow you to crush your workout and then feed your baby with comfort and style. They have saved me during this time of my life, keeping up with sport and momming. Please go check them out at jenandcarrie.com and use the code RISEUP10 for $10 off your order. You won't regret it. Again, jenandcarrie.com, RISEUP, all caps, RISEUP10 for $10 off. Let's get back to the episode.
And so getting back into work and my emotional energy for it has been a lot more difficult than I anticipated. I want to share some really good things that have come up throughout all of this. One really good thing is that when a baby is on a tube feeding overnight, he's being constantly fed. Right now, based on his weight, he's being fed about an ounce an hour overnight, just constantly being pumped from the continuous pump, it's called, into his belly. And he does not really wake up throughout the night too often. So that's great. I'm still a somewhat sleep-deprived mother, but not as much as I was with Gabe, with my firstborn. So, hey, I'm looking on the bright side. Basically, with the tube feeding, I put him to bed. Every 4 hours, we have to refill the formula. So if he gets to bed around 8, the machine is going to beep for me around 12 and again at 4 a.m. And he typically wakes up one other time throughout the night. Last night he woke up at 2 and then he was up again at 6:37. So yeah, I'm still waking up a lot throughout the night, but it's not that bad. It's really not compared to most newborns. Or sometimes, you have to wake up with a newborn and then you have to breastfeed them and then that keeps you up for 45 minutes. And that's not the case with Levi right now. So I'm doing okay on sleep. So that is a huge plus, and I can express some gratitude for this tube feeding and say thanks for that. I'm going to express some more gratitude that I kind of already alluded to, which is of all the things in the world, that problems that people can have. This is something that I get. I get this. I understand this. Now, I am not a clinical dietitian trained in metabolic issues. I actually have a dietitian on Levi's care team. I meet with her once a week. She does his calculations for his tube feeding. She's, me and her just love, I get along with her really well. And just, I feel so confident in her. She's going to help guide me more in his future when he is taking more solids and things like that, because there's a lot that I'm going to get into on another episode. But so I have another dietitian on my team that I'm working with, or on Levi's team that I'm working with, to take care of him. But this is another blessing and something I'm so grateful for. Of all the things that can be wrong with a child or unhealthy or a little different, like I totally get this. This is totally within my wheelhouse to take care of. How amazing is that? How grateful are we? I want to express gratitude for my husband on a variety of reasons. First, I'm just going to say that his training, he is in special operations. And so when it comes to stressful situations, life-threatening situations, he's pretty good at that. He's also, for better or worse, sometimes it's for worse, but in this situation for better, he's really good at compartmentalizing his emotions. He's been through a lot in his life. And so I say that because those times at 3:30 in the morning where we've, have to reinsert the NG tube, or at the time like this morning where out of nowhere we had a critically low blood sugar of 40 that made no sense at all because I had just fed him 2 hours earlier. Whatever. He's good in these situations. He gets it done. It's, he's thinking about what's the 5-meter target. He doesn't get overwhelmed with emotion. He doesn't get overwhelmed thinking about, oh my gosh, what's wrong with my baby? He's just like, this is the action step to fix it. And as a team, we're doing really, really good with staying focused on the present need and what is needed in that moment and overcoming it and working together. So I just want to express gratitude for that as well, that I have a husband who can keep it together emotionally and do what needs to be done for the best interest of Levi. So that's amazing. Another life update and thing that I want to express gratitude for, and I'm going to backtrack a little bit here, but with my husband being military, we were actually supposed to move to Japan last October, and that was going to be hard, but I was also really excited for the adventure of a lifetime. His military orders had us moving to Japan in October, and about last summer, Rob actually put that on hold because he was attempting a career shift. And so it was put on hold until April. And so we didn't move in October. We were supposed to move in April. However, in April, we were not allowed to move because at that point in time, I was 8 months pregnant and the military wasn't going to make me and my family risk being moved at 8 months pregnant. So that was another blessing in disguise. And it kept us here until it was supposed to be the end of this summer. We were supposed to move to Japan. Well, with everything going on with Levi, thank goodness we were not in Japan because Japan does not have a pediatric subspecialty metabolic team that can handle this case. And when I say Japan, I mean the military base, the US military base that we would have been staying on in Japan. I'm sure the actual Japanese have their own way of doing things, but I can truly say if we were in Japan, I don't know that Levi would have survived. They would have had to probably get us on a flight to fly us back over to the US as quickly as possible. I don't know what would have happened. It's scary to think about. So I just want to express gratitude that, the way that God works, for whatever reason, Rob was called to delay our move to Japan, delay. And now at this point in time, we're not going at all because it's not advised for the best interest of Levi. And, I know what I was getting at. To express my gratitude here is this is so crazy, but we're located in San Antonio, and the only geneticist in the entire DOD, in the entire Department of Defense, because we see military doctors, the only geneticist in the entire DOD is here in San Antonio, located at the hospital that Levi was born in. It is just mind blowing. It's one of those things that your heart is just like, what? We were supposed to be here. We weren't supposed to go to Japan. Did I feel some heartbreak over the last 8 weeks about not moving to Japan that I thought was going to happen, that I thought was going to be the adventure, of our lifetime? Yeah, but I also don't have time to be sad about that. I have so many other things going on, right? And if anything, I just feel like, God works in mysterious ways, and He meant for us to be in San Antonio. He meant for Levi to be born with this condition and with this geneticist here with us and with Rob and I as his parents. And so I am so grateful. I truly am. So, listeners, I think I'm going to end this episode here. I am excited to share more about my personal postpartum journey, including nutrition and exercise postpartum. And I am excited to share more about this very, very rare condition called glycogen storage disease that Levi has. There's so much that I can tell you, so much I've learned about it, so much nutrition implications, and I really am excited to share more about it, but not right now. As you can tell, I think I'm still emotional. No, I don't think. I know I am. I know I am. And I want to respect my limits and my boundaries at this point in time. Levi is just 8 weeks old today. He's only been home for 5 weeks and he's doing really well. And we are doing really well with all things considered, but it is a delicate situation. And I don't think having a baby is ever easy. This has been a bit more challenging than I expected. I am so grateful for Ruby, who manages this podcast and has been keeping it going in my absence. I'm so thankful to Ruby. I am so thankful to Shaya, who actually does the editing of the podcast episodes. And I'm so grateful for Jenna and the Rise Up Nutrition team, Sam and Danielle, and my assistant, Vanessa, who have kept Rise Up Nutrition running in my absence. Jenna has been working directly with clients. We had just started working with clients, new clients for the summer. And then I was like, oh, I'm just going to have a baby and I'll be back in a couple weeks. And then I was not back in a couple weeks. And I'm so grateful to my clients for being understanding. They have been so understanding. They have been so supportive. They have been sending me love and prayers and sending Levi prayers. And thank you all so much for sending those prayers, being supportive. Thank you, Jenna, for being an amazing dietitian to our clients. Thank you, listeners. If you've made it to the end of this episode, we have a few more episodes saved up from the past, and then hopefully I'll get to start recording some new ones in the next month or so. But yeah, this is just a crazy, delicate, sensitive time in life right now. And so I wanted to share that with you all. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to end it there. I'm excited to have some more solo episodes in the future. But for now, just be excited that we have another amazing human being in this world, Levi Cortez. He is cute. He is forgiving. I will say that after all we've put him through. He is resilient. And yes, he is fierce, fit, and fueled as well, because Lord knows Mama is fueling him up every 2 hours to make sure that his blood sugar doesn't drop. So he is fierce, fit, and fueled for sure. All right. Thank you for listening, everybody. Bye-bye. Well, everybody, thanks for listening. I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And if you did, if you are a true fan of female athlete nutrition, then I would love if you could support our podcast by spreading the word. Share a review on your listening channel, give us 5 stars. It really helps get the word out and get the show more views to positively impact others. Also, you can support the podcast by joining our Patreon. Head to patreon.com/femaleathletenutrition to consider a donation, or even better, join our membership where you get extra monthly content and perks. We don't want you to simply listen alone. We want you to be a part of a community and a movement of fierce, fit, and fueled female athletes. So patreon.com/femaleathletenutrition is where you can do exactly that, learn more, and join. A huge thanks to our affiliates and partners as well. Once again, Prevenix, Inside Tracker, Orgain, Practice Better, Jen and Carrie. Please go check them out, and their links in the show notes where you can get deals and discounts. Last, be sure that you do more than just listen. If you need help with fueling, it's time to take action. Head to my website to learn more. You can either book a free call with me to learn more about our coaching programs and how we can work directly with you, whether it's the fast track or otherwise. Or you can take our online self-study course, Female Athlete Nutrition. You can literally sign up and gain access right now. You can explore our downloadable products, including the Red S Recovery Guide, High Iron Fueling Guide. Or if you are a coach of a team, check out our brand new Coaches Toolkit for teams. You can also just learn more. We have a blog, a Red S quiz to see if Red S is affecting you. If you need help, I want you to get help fast. Too many girls and athletes struggle with nutrition, but you don't have to any longer. You can rise up with the power of nutrition, take action today in any of these avenues, and become fierce, fit, and fueled. Links in the show notes, and we'll see you next time.